Alright, so in this video I want to speak about the um, the way that we can use fear and really what fear represents in your journey and how it can be utilized as one of the most powerful resources towards getting you towards the goals that you've set out to achieve and towards creating that God life that you'd really like to create. And so in this video, I want to not only explain how it can be utilized, but at the same time, I want to give you an exercise at the end of this, which is going to be so powerful for you to use, and it's going to become your weapon. It's going to become your weapon in this war that you're getting yourself into when you're in the fight. So here's the thing, is that going back to the analogy that I've referred to several times within this program of how with you getting towards where you are right now to where you want to be, going from A to B, it's always going to require a certain vehicle. And that vehicle, if you're trying to go from A to B, whether it's from here to a different continent or from here to, a different planet or a moon, then you're going to need a vehicle such as a plane or a rocket ship. And so if you think about, going from A to B in the shortest space of time, then it's going to require a lot of fuel to put into your rocket ship or into your plane. And with people putting in fuel, they sometimes see that, okay, I got to put in some money, I got to put in some time, I got to put in some energy, I got to put in some effort, and they see those main resources as being quite like logical and also very easy to understand. But the thing that gives you more so the edge over other people is having a different type of fuel that is a fuel that obviously comes from within your body, but also if you provide this fuel to your vehicle, then it gives you a different type of advantage because you're never going to deal with any kind of laziness. Like it's also something that will help you to overcome those obstacles in front of you that you might be afraid of. And because you have this new next level need, now that makes it so that the why can be anyhow. So there's a saying that no matter what question you have in your mind, okay, I got this goal, I don't know how I'm going to do it in this particular time. The reason for why you're feeling like that's a problem is because you haven't unlocked what we call your why. And your why is your superpower. So really what you want to be doing is figuring out what is your why. And some of you have come onto the calls and you came to us and you came with that why. You knew straight from the beginning what it was, and that's the reason as to why you're currently going through these programs, is because you do have a why and you have a strong emotional one. Because the thing about your why is that there's certain criteria to it, and that it has to be emotional. If it is not emotional, it is not really your why. That's just something that you're using as a logical reason, but it's not really your superpower that's driving you forwards. It has to be an emotional one. And usually it comes under the 6 human needs, which are certainty, uncertainty, significance. The other one is growth, there's contribution, and there's also love and connection. So if the why encompasses one of these things, like for example, I referred to in the previous video of Karen who had her why as her baby, well, that's a why of love and connection, but also uncertainty. Because she's doing it because of how much she loves her baby, but at the same time she's uncertain about what the future is going to look like if she doesn't actually go forwards. So your why usually fits in with one of these 6 emotional needs. If you want to learn a little bit more about the 6 human needs, then I'd recommend looking at some of Tony Robbins' work, who is the one that pioneered the 6 human needs, and just search into YouTube what they are, how they work, and how you can utilize them to your advantage. So the thing about your why is that it has to be emotional. It has to be something that you really deeply feel. Nobody's saying that you have to go and start crying like she was, but what I'm saying is that it's got to be something that you genuinely feel deep down is something that you're either afraid of or something that you truly desire. And usually if it's a fear, then that can help you more so in being that rocket fuel, because it will help you go from where you are to where you want to be as that motivator, as that thing that's that internal motivation. And you will never need any external motivation, because I believe that that external motivation is pretty terrible. If you're in a circumstance where you don't have control over what happens externally, then that's losing straight away, because you've lost control over how you act. So it's so much better to have that inside of you, keep it with you no matter where you go. You have that internal inspiration instead of external motivation. So the thing about uncovering what your why is, we have to do it through a certain exercise. And the reason why is because this is something that you can't do consciously. We have to bypass the conscious, go to the subconscious, like we did with some of the exercises in the key to spiritual connection part of the program. And the way that we're going to do it is through an exercise that we call the 7 levels deep. Now, I would recommend that at this point, from when you finish watching the video, you book a call with one of your coaches, whoever is your assigned coach, and then from there, you get them to run this exercise with you. And the reason why is because they've done this many times before, not just with themselves, but also with other people. And they know whether or not you actually found your true why. Because it's something that you feel. It's something that you might not know you're doing right when you do it. So I would highly recommend getting on a call with one of the coaches. It's not going to take a long time, but you just get straight to it and they'll help you out. And the way that it works is that they're just going to ask you certain questions to help you uncover what your why really is, and they're going to go 7 levels deep on average. It's not always 7 levels deep. Like, best example is when I did the 7 levels deep exercise with Karen, that woman who was tearing up. It took one question. It took one question and she already knew. It just broke her. But other people, sometimes it takes more than 7. But we call it 7 levels deep because on average, that's when you get to the core why. So yeah, the way that it's going to work, do it with your coach, and this is going to be super powerful. Once you've uncovered what that why is, I would recommend writing it down so that you can remind yourself every single day what your why is, and you'll never ever forget. Because as soon as you forget your why, then in those dark times, in those times where it's going to be difficult for you to overcome those obstacles and you feel fear being in front of you and keeping you stuck, that's simply because the why behind you, you've not taken a look at what it is. You've not turned around and seen that, hang on a sec, there's a fear in front of me, but there's also a bigger fear behind me that's more important. And so you got to sometimes, instead of having the blinkers on and looking forwards, you got to take a look back. So yeah, this is the power of leveraging your why. And once you've uncovered it, never forget it. Tell as many people as you can, if possible, that this is your why, this is why you're doing it. Communicate it with them, and make it something that you just have with you at all times, because that is going to be the thing that pulls you out of all of those moments of feeling like, I don't think I can do this, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Remember, when you have a why, it can beat almost any how. So yeah, that's a little bit as to what will really help you to uncover the key of courage, and it will give you courage when you never thought you had it. It will give you strength in those moments of pain. So yeah, that's this video, and on the next one we're going to go a little bit more into a different model, a different exercise that we can be doing that you can utilize quite independently, which we call the fear model, and I'm going to break that down as well so that you have another tool that you can be using to help you really get that next level of courage. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one.